the universe is not what physics tells us it is. A physical system, an entropic system that was born in immense energy and chaos and will run down with a whimper, not a bang, run down into heat entropy and dissipation. What that model left out was biology and mind. Now, biology, you might imagine, is a fairly ephemeral, recent, fragile phenomenon. It is not. The average star in this galaxy gutters out after about 700 million years. Not our star. We happen to have the good fortune to be around a very stable, slow-burning star. But there has been biology on this planet at least 2 billion years. 3 times the average life of a star. So biology is not some Johnny-come-lately epiphenomenon. Biology is a phenomenon more persistent than the life of the stars themselves. And biology is not a static thing. I mean, a star evolving now is not greatly different from a star evolving 1 billion years ago. Biology doesn't work that way. Biology constantly changes the context in which evolution occurs. The way I have downloaded this into a phrase is the universe is, the biological universe at least, is a novelty-conserving engine. Upon simple molecules are built complex molecules. Upon complex molecules are built complex polymers. Upon complex polymers comes DNA. Out of DNA comes the whole machinery of the cell. Out of cells comes simple aggregate colony animals like Hydra and that sort of thing. Out of that, true animals. Out of that, ever more complex animals, organs of locomotion, organs of sight, organs of smell, complex mental machinery for the coordinating of data in time and space. This is the whole story of the advancement of life. And in our species, it reaches its culmination, and it crosses over into a new domain where change no longer occurs in the atomic and biological machinery of existence. It begins to take place in this world which we call mental. It's called epigenetic change, change which cannot be traced back to mutation of the arrangements of molecules inside long-chain polymers, but change taking place in syntactical structures that are linguistically based. And people have probably been using language with considerable facility for probably 50,000 years, possibly more. In our own time, we have created ever more elaborate languages, ever more elaborate technologies for transforming, storing, and retrieving language, so that we are actually on the brink, of being able to give every single one of you the complete cultural inventory, the complete database of human beings' experience on this planet. That's what these data highways and networks are all about. The nervous system is being hardwired.
I'm Craig Lewis.
I'm Nathan Kay.
And this is another beautiful installment of Fair Enough with a great guest.
Yeah, you're right on all accounts.
It's
beautiful. It's an installment.
It's stunning.
It's another. and there's a great guest. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fair Enough, the complimentary side series to Fairpoint Podcast.
And we don't fuck around post 50.
We don't fuck around at all, motherfucker.
But definitely not post 50.
Definitely not post 50. We are coming back into the game right on the heels of episode 50, that intense episode, as intense as it was, with a stellar, amazing, groundbreaking guest star.
That's right. One half of Feral Audio's real-life sci-fi podcast, Willy Roberts, has joined us to talk about one of Nathan's favorite thinkers.
Not one of Craig's.
Not a known thinker of Craig's.
Today, we are talking about Terence McKenna. If you're unfamiliar with him, he's that guy that you just listened to a minute ago.
Yeah. I know. It's a lot to digest. The first time I heard it, I wasn't like, you're crazy. I was like, huh?
It is a lot to digest, but I think it pays off. And I love, way before podcasts ever existed, that's what I listened to, was Terence McKenna talking for 8 hours.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nathan. What is easier to digest is being in a room listening to two people explain Terence McKenna that know Terence McKenna.
You think so?
It worked for me. It did.
Cool. Well, then hopefully this podcast could be a service to others.
I do have to say, though, I got to say before we get going, you earlier was like, you're going to think he's crazy. And I was like, oh, okay. So what I'm thinking, I listened to the guy and I'm like, nah, man, I've fucking heard crazier on the street corner of my work. You know, guys are rambling about all sorts of shit out there.
No, I don't think Terence McKenna is crazy, but he can come off as crazy, if you know what I mean.
Well,
let's lay the groundwork. Terence McKenna
loves drugs.
Well, Terence McKenna, where I was going to go with the sentence, was that he's a thinker, a philosopher, a chemist, a botanist, a
Makes sense. He mixed the
speaker,
chemistry and the botany, and he's basically male poison ivy.
an author.
He loves making toxins.
He does. Okay, Terence McKenna's position on drugs, he likes psychedelics.
Well, he's a free thinker, so of course he does.
And his philosophy on them, which this is not Fairpoint's philosophy, so take this as Terence McKenna's philosophy: don't go out and do it, be safe, be responsible.
Yeah, if you do go out and do it, be safe and be responsible, for sure. My personal philosophy on it is I've never touched a thing, wink, wink.
He believes that you shouldn't do them regularly or often. You should do them rarely in exceptionally large doses. And then
I don't know if I can agree with the large dose part, because that can make an OD so possible.
Exactly. That's why it's like a little irresponsible, because he also believes you should do it alone. But he also says...
That's also scary?
He also says, like, guys, but no, that's if you can. Like, you should have a sitter. And his point on that, he's like, but if you have a sitter... I'm not going to try to do Terence's voice. But, like, they're in the other room, and, like, you have a bell, and if you ring that bell, they pop their head in, and they're like, don't worry, it's all good, everything's cool. You need some water.
Thank you, Nanny from Muppet Babies.
And well, the thing is, though, he's trying to talk to aliens through this shit. So, like,
yeah, that theory was very interesting to me. You could probably make me a believer on that with a little bit more convincing.
And I feel like we only scratched the iceberg in this episode, but
that's an extremely interesting way of talking about the whole alien condition.
He also believes, and I don't think we touched upon this a lot, but it's one of his biggest things, and I hope we get Willie back to do a second episode about Terence, honestly. One of his biggest things is that, like, also psychedelics erode cultural boundaries and, like, cultural limitations. So, like, all this, like, programming that's, like, so inherent to us is removed temporarily. You know what I mean? The veil is removed. Because we're so programmed. The fact that...
when you take psychedelics, you see beyond the veil.
But the fact that I can exhale while moving my lips and tongue strategically to make specific noises, and your brain, like your auditory receptors, can take that rush of air that goes into them, interpret it into signals that can be given to your brain, and that your brain can then instantly, with like a millisecond's like speed, know what I mean. I'm telepathically communicating with you right now. It's just
maybe because I'm just like moving my mouth and lips and gums right now.
I'm telepathically communicating with you, dude, by taking my mouth and projecting air towards your ears in a specific shape.
Right, but there's a certain point where that becomes not telepathic and just talking. Talking is point. Telepathy.
That's kind of one of his things.
Talking is telepathy. It's telepathy we all use. And you're like, I'm
basically
not going to move any forks, though.
This is the type of shit Terence be talking about. And also, this is the type of shit Willie be talking about on Real Life Sci-Fi. Real Life Sci-Fi, if you're not familiar, it's a great fucking show. We talked about it a little bit last episode. The idea is that there's a cynic and there's a believer, and they talk about the paranormal and the conspiratorial, and they break it down, and their guest is forced to choose a side. Forced. At gunpoint.
Quote unquote forced.
At gunpoint. No, there's no gunpoint.
Their guest wanted it.
Craig, Jesus.
What? I'm just talking about choosing sides.
So we are honored to have Willy Roberts. You can find him on Instagram at Willy Bad Movies, I believe. And he's on Twitter at Robotic Willy.
I just got that. Willy Bad Movies. Like he's got a speech impediment and he's saying really bad movies. Yeah.
And then the Twitter was at Robotic Willy. But I checked them out. And they are pretty funny. It's movie posters for movies that don't exist. And they're pretty funny.
You could say they are a laugh riot.
I could.
You could, but you didn't.
So we had so much fucking fun with this episode. It was one of the most fun in true real-life sci-fi fashion. We had a few drinks and took a few detours.
Yeah, but it is definitely not okay to drink and drive.
No, never okay.
Never okay. Never. Stay alive this Memorial Weekend. That was last weekend.
Yeah.
I hope you stayed alive and didn't drink and drive.
It was my birthday. So, I
You think you're special? You think you're special?
Yes.
Listen, the unknown soldier had his meal with Donald Trump. You are not special.
Stolen valor. Stolen valor.
No, he's unknown. There's a difference.
Hey, I don't want to keep you guys. We got to get Willy in here because this was one of the most fun episodes ever. So we'll meet you back here at the end. We'll talk more then, okay?
Yeah. Come on, Willy. The water is just fine.
Yo.
Hello. Howdy,
What's up, dude?
Nothing. How you doing?
Oh,
Doing great, man.
Oh, let me plug in my headphones.
Hey, thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you for having me.
I love real life sci-fi, so this is super cool.
That's awesome. Ultimately, that show to me is just wanting to talk to everybody about everything. And it's weird because the show wouldn't be the show without Wade, and I think that he's a great counterpart. But I'm starting to get frustrated that he doesn't learn or believe in anything.
Yeah. That's so funny. Half of the podcast, every time I listen, half of the podcast is me going like, shut the fuck up, Wade, and half of it's me going, shut the fuck up, Willy.
Yeah.
But I fucking love it, dude. I love it.
Oh, sorry, that was weird. I just did a clap in the middle of you talking for an edit if you need it. That's funny. Yeah, I know. It's weird because I stopped listening to the show because when I listen to myself, I go, oh, there's too many things that I wanted to say because it's a conversation, I'm not in charge of it, and there's a lot of things I leave out that I wish I could get to, but...
Yeah.
But it's also great, though, because then I can have the same conversation over and over, because I never...
Right, time management is definitely a tricky thing to do when you're podcasting.
And that's something I've noticed. Well, the thing you said earlier about you want to talk to everybody about everything. I love having a podcast because if I want to talk to somebody about something, but I don't have any friends that are into it, I can force Craig to like watch it or read a few books or something to do it for the podcast. Unfortunately, he can do the same thing to me.
Yeah, I take some for the team. He takes some for the team.
And then I can make Craig talk to me about it. But
I have friends, so I normally don't need to make Nathan talk to me.
Oh, yeah, that's how it is. But no, I heard you mention Terence McKenna so many times on the show that, you guys have never done a Terence McKenna episode. So I was just like, man, it would be really cool to talk to Willy. I'd love to hear more about, I don't know, like I just don't really know anybody that's into Terence McKenna. So
yeah, and it's weird because I'm definitely past the, he to me was probably a hippie hero for 40 years. I'm probably wrong about everything. Dates to me don't really work.
Yeah.
But I know the thing I was listening to today was like definitely from the 90s, and it was during Clinton's second term, and I was like,
yeah, there's talks all the way back to like 83.
Yeah. And ultimately I forget, I used to know I didn't do my due diligence, but what was he studying? Societies, and then he got then he fell into DMT. Is that what happened?
Oh man, he's got a huge story. I don't remember everything either. I've been listening to him since I was in high school.
Seems like DMT is what really opened him up to life, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the DMT guy. He's the guy that, like, most people hear DMT 2012, they think about like Joe Rogan and Nostradamus and shit. And when the whole 2012 craze was going on, I would get so pissed because I was like, man, nobody's talking about Terence McKenna. Like, that's what. Yeah.
That and no one. It was either it's all nothing, or it's the Mayans are telling us about the end of the world, and like I've never been on either end of that.
Yes, thank you. Same here. Yeah, I think it's more of a benchmark that, like, maybe in the future you can look back and see it as a transition point. But I can speak to my personal life. Everything changed in 2012. Like, my world ended. Like, my entire world ended, and a new world began for me. So
he was basically saying it was more of a metaphysical thing.
I believe that Terence McKenna was talking to me specifically.
Oh, just you?
Yes. No.
I think he might have been talking to Willie too, though.
Well, I always wonder that because I'm like, I think one of my biggest fears is that it's just me, and that every person is made up in my head, and it's my brain just Well, yeah, Craig, where are you on the WoW scale?
Wow, huh?
The Wade or Willie scale. So are you more of a cynic or more of a Willie?
I feel like I land somewhere in between. I'm kind of like a Scully. I really want to believe, but I need that evidence.
Yeah, we just went to this McMenamin's UFO festival this last weekend. Like, my belief was just rejuvenated because there's this guy, Robert Jacobs, and this guy, Robert Hastings. And they both have stories of UFOs messing with nukes.
Oh.
And it's just mind-boggling. I don't know, it just made me go like, oh yeah, this is all real.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've talked about the UFO thing a couple times in our Fairpoint podcast. I really want to believe, and you can easily make a case to make me believe. I can easily be swayed to believe.
I happen to be, as far as like the Wade Willie scale is concerned, I'm kind of, whereas Craig says he's like right in the middle, I'm kind of literally both 100%. Like, I am a hardcore stone cold skeptic, but I also truly believe that if you like expand your worldview, you can start to recognize things about this world that are real that, most people would think would categorize you as crazy or whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something really out there for me to be like, no, that's bullshit.
I mean, I've had encounters with weird entities. I've had a lot of things happen to me. So I am a stone cold skeptic, but I don't discount anybody's stories because if I told half of mine, people would think I was crazy,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. You're nuts. No, you're nuts. I heard he's got some stories. He really does. And you just really have to be like, wow, were you?
But I'm interested, how did you get into Terence McKenna? Like, I'm really curious.
Well, I heard him being quoted in electronic music in the late 90s.
That's awesome.
Wow.
My first exposure to him is a song by I know it by heart, and now that I'm here on the spot. For those who are curious, the name of the song is Re-Evolution, and it's by The Shaman and Terence McKenna. Not the shaman singular, but the shaman plural, which would be S-H-A-M-E-N. I don't know if that's actually the plural of shaman, but in any case, that's how the band does it. Now, I will warn you, it's really hard to find the version that I found, and no, the thing you heard at the start of this podcast is not that. That was something I sort of put together in homage to it. But if you search on YouTube, you will find a different version of it. If you search hard enough, you'll find the version that I'm talking about, which has the babbling brook at the beginning. And if you're really desperate to hear it, message us and I'll tell you how to find it, and we'll figure it out together. My first exposure to him is a song by Oh, geez. I know it. I know it by heart. And now that I'm here on the spot, it starts off with like a babbling brook, and then he's like, "Human history represents such a radical break from the series of natural orders that preceded it that it must be the response to." I remember everything he says, but I can't remember the name of the song or the group.
Yeah, I know
CNC Music Factory.
Spungel used to use them a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so Willie, I have this picture in my mind. Please tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I can just picture you like raving out in a club, and then like just in the rave music, you can hear Terence McKenna in the background, like electronica music. Yay, nay?
You mean without hearing his voice, but actually hearing the?
Oh
the
no,
connection?
you're hearing his voice in the song.
At when you go
Like
to raves,
sampled over.
they really drop the lyrics, and I don't think I've ever heard his voice at a rave.
Oh,
He
man.
used to perform at raves though, and that would have been quite the experience.
MC Terrence?
You know,
Hell yeah.
he would go up on stage and do his rap while talking.
Wow. Okay. I thought he used to do that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, there's some videos on YouTube. I'm pretty sure.
That's cool.
Is that where they got the idea for Parappa the Rapper from? Is that seems like Terrence is like teaching everybody, schooling them how to raps.
That was a game I never played, and I knew that I'm not supposed to like it. It's for young kids, right?
Right.
I don't know why rap became such a thing that they needed to teach people how to do it, and like people that didn't know how to do it were allowed to teach it.
Step, clap, step, clap.
Oh my goodness!
Like I'm sure there are business videos out there with them rapping information. You know?
There are.
Oh, absolutely.
There's some great training videos on YouTube too, like Wendy's training videos from the early '90s.
I mean,
boy.
if it's done by their social media presence, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, way before I got into podcasts, Terence McKenna was just kind of, I would listen to this dude talk for hours and at first just be utterly lost by 75% of it. And the more I listened and the more I improved my vocabulary and opened up my worldview, a lot of it really started making sense to me. And Craig is actually a McKenna virgin.
Yeah, I got McKenna sodomized.
He's been binging this last week, and I'm really curious, Craig.
It was hard, and you know what? You actually made me feel better earlier when you were like, when I first listened to it, I didn't know what the hell was going on, and I'm like, okay, we're not alone. It seemed like every time I was finally grasping something, he went on to a new one, and I was like still focused on something he was talking about a minute and a half ago.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I tend to pause. I pause him and then look up some things and then go back and catch back up, you know, because he does like his train. I don't know if he's just thinking and have thought about this over and over. I don't think these are prepared speeches or memorized by any means, but he just, on the same concept, can talk about the whole universe in like a half hour.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Or 3 hours.
They're definitely not prepared. If you listen to a ton of them, which I have, you do notice similar turns of phrase pop up a lot, and he'll tell similar stories, or certain sentences will be worded similarly, but
different, different enough to be like, this is a different thing I'm saying.
And it makes it clear that he's coming off the top of his head, which is just
instead of cue cards.
Amazing. He's a brilliant speaker, and
yeah, he just seems like the smartest burnt out hippie I've ever heard.
Yeah. And what happens to me is that I'm either influenced by something, and not to give that as an excuse, but I definitely don't have a well thought out anything. And so as I'm talking, sometimes I just get lost, but we're recording a podcast, so I just keep going, and then I get even more lost. And I'm just like, well, I'm not trying to sound smart, but I also don't want to, you've heard our show. I stop all the time. Like, I don't know what I'm saying.
That's part of the charm of it, though. I love it, man.
Yeah, it comes off as genuine, honestly.
We had we like this weekend we interviewed a few legit people. We interviewed an alien and abductee hypnotherapist.
What?
I haven't listened to that one, and I haven't listened to the Lyme disease one. I'm 2 episodes behind. So other than that, I've listened to your whole catalog. But how'd that go?
It went really well, but I was getting really jarbled up on my words because I was like, here she is, I have a million questions. And right now I'm focused on making the podcast go smoothly. It sucked. I want to have her back on and just, to me, the conversation, if you can get so deep into the conversation that you're actually just having it, then you're not going to think about what you're saying,
Yeah.
Or get caught up on it as much.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed in podcasting too. You had mentioned earlier that you tend to like, I don't mean beat up on yourself, but you're like, oh man, I didn't say all these things I wanted to say. That is something, we've been doing this for a while now, and it really bothered me in the early days, but I think it's something like hating the sound of your own voice. You eventually just kind of have to accept it, and then you stop hating it so much. And
yeah.
So long as you made a good podcast, it's okay that
you missed something. Out. Yeah, I don't know how many times I've heard what the product was, and I was like, oh shit, why did I say that? I mean, we all do it to ourselves.
Yeah. Just you're right. The trick is to just stop beating yourself up because you want every conversation to be perfect. Like that doesn't make your show any better.
and I disagree with that. I think it does make the show better. But we can't be there.
I keep asking Craig's if we can take down the cue card system, but he won't yield.
He wants to move to teleprompters. It's not like we're made of money.
Wait, do you use cue cards?
No.
Okay. I knew you were joking, but then I kind of for a second went like, wait a minute.
Willie, all real podcasters use cue cards. No.
Well, I work on the show The Talk, right?
Yeah,
have you heard? The crazy thing about that show is they have all the conversations ahead of time. And they have cue cards that have what their conversation is. That way you know which camera's going to go where. So I don't think it makes the conversation disingenuous because it is their real thoughts. But
Hollywood
it's rehearsed, and the second time around, you'll never see them mess up.
That's interesting. I've had a lot of people ask like if we can do a practice run before the podcast, and I'm like, no, that's the point. We gotta it's gold. Get those jokes. When
you're trying to recreate a joke, it doesn't often land unless you're actually
hold on. You said that wrong. Will you can you go back and say and just make sure you say jeans this time?
Right. Yeah. So then you're doing like 6 or 7 takes.
Yeah, you've worked on a lot of shows, man. That's super cool. I was scrolling through your IMDb and I was like, holy shit. And I feel like, didn't you play like a bit part on wrestling at one point?
Yeah, my buddy directed that prank show Swerved.
What?
And so I got to go swerve some wrestlers. I went down to the Performance Center and I met Triple H and met a bunch of people, Finn Balor and Sami Zayn and Bailey, and I mean it was. Listen, I'm a big wrestling fan because a bunch of us recently just started admitting to the others that we could still watch wrestling. So
yeah, I'm a WWE Network guy since day one.
Who's your favorite wrestler all time?
Oh, all time. I mean, I think that Mankind basically.
No way. Say word, Willie. Say
Mankind?
word, Willie. Mick Foley is the reason I became a wrestling fan.
Mick Foley is like a guy that takes on so much for your enjoyment, and he commits so hard, and he does things that are unexpected. So he's like I'm watching him as like watching a comedian. Like he's such a good entertainer, and then you find out that he does Santa Claus all the time, and
that's great.
I mean, he's just as a guy with a good heart, and he puts it all out there for you.
Yeah, I got to see him do his comedy show live about a year or two ago, and met him
really?
Afterwards. It was pretty dope.
Wow, what city were you in when that happened?
Syracuse, New York.
Okay, cool. Because I know he did it for a little while. I don't know how many places he went to, but
yeah, I don't either. But it was pretty cool. It was at the Funny Bone, and yeah, he very funny, very fun, very cool. Got a snapshot with him afterwards. But yeah, let's bring it back to Terrence. I'm really interested because I know you think about this shit a lot. Like,
although, could I have you back so we could talk about wrestling later? Some other time.
Oh yeah.
Word. That's it. That's on tape. You got to come back.
Yeah, I'm doing a wrestling podcast this week, and I've already done one. Like, I don't know. I'm not fully up to everything, but that's not what it's about. It's about what turned you on, what made you go crazy. You know what I mean? Like the Wyatts. we've gone to some wrestling events this year, and
cool.
Seeing the Wyatts come out with their songs playing and the lights are off and everybody's lighting their lighters or holding up their cell
Hold
phones.
up the phones, yeah. It's just like they're all the fireflies there.
It's great. Anyways,
it's
okay.
definitely an experience there.
Terence McKenna, to me, is a big problem for society. I mostly like listening to all the things that he says about Western thinking. I mean, wait, Craig, what were you listening to specifically? What
I listened to the psychedelic experience. He was talking about DMT and shit like that. And I listened to him talk about aliens, and I listened to him talk about Time Wave Zero.
And Nathan, you've heard him talk about most things, right?
I think I've heard like every piece of recorded Terence McKenna audio that exists.
Because, like, what's weird to me about DMT specifically is that if you do enough of it, you encounter beings.
That's what I've heard. I've never smoked DMT.
This is legit or just like mental?
Well, so DMT is one of the what do you call it?
Psychoactive?
Yeah. But your brain creates it.
Yeah, it does. It produces it like at like 4 a.m. or something like that.
Oh, for your dream. Oh, yeah. So it's something like waking dreams or shit like that, right?
It does it when you're dreaming, and yeah. But when it comes to psychedelics, you could say that every experience is just in your head and nothing is real. That's of course you can say that, but for so many people to encounter the same types of beings it's just amazing to me. Like, are they tapping into another dimension? Is this here's something that Terence McKenna talked about before that really blew my mind. He was talking about if there was proof of aliens on your planet, you would look for the proof biologically. You would look for something that didn't have
I heard this.
that didn't evolve on the planet, something weird, something that doesn't belong. And he always talked about mushrooms, psilocybin, whatever the word is. Psilocybin. Mushrooms and spores are so unique that, and their evolutionary, the biological evolution of them is very unique, and they can survive in space. And so
the spores, are the casing of mushroom spores is the hardest known natural substance, and would totally survive going through a planet's atmosphere. They're not plant, they're not animal. They have I don't remember. I'm like you with numbers and stuff, but it's something like everything on Earth has 3 base pairs in DNA, and they have 4, or something like that.
Yeah. So it's weird because it's easy to brush anything off that you don't want to listen to, but get a biologist to talk about how unique mushrooms are.
Oh, and fungus can grow anywhere on anything, in any conditions.
In between my toes.
Talking about this stuff will never impact you. You got to go to the source. You got to do this on your own. But he was saying though that if we what are we doing? As soon as we get smart, we try to send stuff out into space. We've sent the Voyager probe that had a gold disc on it, told you where we were, all this information, said hi in every language.
I would just put porn on it for him. This is how we do it.
Well, what type of porn, Craig? Like a glossy, high-produced one, or some
brazers,
amateur
obviously.
Cam girls?
I don't know. I just think you do one straight, one gay, some interracial, and just be like, there it is. It's all of it.
Well, what if you could make a 20-minute video that showed the whole evolution of porn in one shot?
20 minutes is nowhere near long enough.
But you just go through it, but this and this and
you
this
could
and this.
branch off to fetishes, and you're never gonna get back.
It doesn't really matter because I'm only gonna make it 2 minutes into the video. So
yeah, I mean, if we really want contact, we have to be trying to turn these aliens on.
But you were saying with the mushrooms.
Oh yeah, so he was just proposing that what if mushrooms were the same thing we were doing, a probe where if you want to find out if there's intelligent life on the Earth, you're not going to drive everywhere. You send out a signal, and what if mushrooms were that signal? And as soon as you take a psychedelic drug or a mushroom or whatever, that psychedelic trip is actually you communicating with them, and that was your your antenna. That was you broadcasting and them tuning in on your signal.
What I had heard, and I guess you actually kind of explained it a little better for me, but so basically he was saying you won't find anything physical because they aren't here. They're just speaking to us like telepathically through the hallucinogen.
Yeah.
I totally buy into the idea that that fungus are from space. Either way, I've pretty much bought into that idea. No matter what, I kind of believe that fungus, all types of fungus, definitely did not come from Earth.
Well, because they're so different from every other plant life, right?
And it really does seem like they're biologically suited to be able to travel through space and grow no matter what type of planet they land on. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I might be full of shit. And
here's the proof of the future. These things are going to come back to us, future generations. But Mars, for example, or even the moon, we shouldn't have landed on the moon because there's water on the moon. So we have contaminated the moon with
filth,
with us
people, human scum. I heard this one theory that actually we aren't from Earth, but we're refugees from Mars.
Yeah, listen, I go deep into all that stuff. It's hard to believe, but it's fun to listen to. But it's hard to believe the history of humans, too. Do you subscribe to any religion? Do you subscribe to the evolution that, still has a missing link? I think, you can really go in every direction, and I think that the history of humans, I think, is probably from Mars. I think that the pyramids that they found on Mars is probably similar to the ones here. We don't talk about subtle energies. We don't talk about most humans still think that the pyramids are tombs.
What? They're not.
I think that they're not monuments at all. I think that they harness subtle energies and basically, if you look up...
Oh, well, Futurama taught us that.
Oh, did it? I don't know. If you look up Tesla's free energy design, a lot of people don't think that exists, but his plans for his free energy matches the layout of a pyramid, and I think that these were just energy houses, and
that's incredible. And one of my favorite facts is that Queen Nefertiti lived closer to the time of the iPhone than she did to the time that the Great Pyramids were built, which is just... Hey, it's Nathan from the future. So I figured I'd go ahead and fact-check that fact before I commit this to podcast, and it turns out it's not entirely true, meaning it's not true at all. But the truth is just as impressive. In actuality, she lived about 1,260 years from the time of the construction of the Great Pyramids, and 3,337 years from the invention of the iPhone. But the point of the erroneous statement still holds true. Nefertiti died 1,259 years after the Great Pyramid was constructed. 1,259 years ago, the Roman Empire had just been founded. But none of this matters because I didn't mean to say Nefertiti. I meant to say Cleopatra, who died in 30 BC and absolutely lived closer to the time of the iPhone than she did to the time of the Great Pyramid. So, whereas Nefertiti's difference brought us back to the dawn of the Roman Empire, Cleopatra's difference would bring us back to more than half a century before Jesus, right around the time that Sun Tzu, the dude that wrote The Art of War, was born. So way before Cleopatra was even born. Okay, I think all this Terence McKenna is rubbing off on me. Let's just get back to the discussion. Mind-blowing, right?
So, the pyramids are way older than... Basically, all of this history that you look into, it was meant to fit into the Christian model of life.
Right.
Yeah.
That only 3,000 years before Christ were the first civilizations. And I feel like they can easily disprove that, but it's hard for anybody to jump on board because you don't want to break from the norm of what's been established in the history circles. This is me talking, but whenever I look up any I don't know. If you haven't seen Pyramid Code on Netflix, Pyramid Code to me is the Terence McKenna of documentaries.
I'll have to check it out. I love the idea that you were talking about with the mushrooms being either aliens themselves or something invented by aliens. And I honestly find that very likely. Like, I would put that near the top of my list.
You could probably sell that on me.
Likely weird ideas.
Yeah. I might buy that for like, I don't know, $20.
So when people talk about like ancient alien astronauts and they talk about like, oh, I think aliens came down here and built the pyramids or taught us how to do it, or aliens like helped spark human civilization, I'm like, I kind of agree with you, but I don't think there were spaceships and alien beings coming down and talking to us. I think
well, then how did they know how to... Well, they wrote it on the walls.
No, just the fact that the psychoactive mushrooms were introduced to the human diet and sparked such a change in human thought was basis enough for civilization to begin. Like the fact that, you know, that monkeys were eating mushrooms and starting to think about things, you know?
So monkeys ate mushrooms and they ended up becoming man.
And if, as Willie was kind of saying, like if the mushrooms are how we sent out a time capsule with like some songs on it, some pictures, some porn, and wait for the aliens to find it, the mushrooms could be like that, where like you eat these trippy mushrooms and that crazy experience is some type of weird, unrelatable alien entity's idea of trying to communicate something. It's culture, it's knowledge, something to whatever's out there.
Well, okay, like what I think is the weirdest thing ever. You know, I could go off about everything, but like our experience, and Terence talks about this too, where it's like basically culture is just giving you boundaries about even how to think, about what we're supposed to be, and like especially this fucking bullshit we have now. Yes, I do. It's hard to talk to anybody about this because I always have to defend capitalism, even though I'm about to shit on it.
Okay. So
it is the best. It is the best thing out there. It is. America. You know, we do have freedoms, even though, you know, we've taken so many whatever. I'm not going to get into Native Americans or slavery in this country, whatever. But we have boundaries on ourselves, and even our existence is a boundary, because we don't accept. I know that some religions talk about a soul, but science doesn't accept a soul. You know, but our existence is not physical. Everyone always says we are having a physical existence, and I'm like, you know what? The word physical doesn't apply anymore, because we know that there's more space in an atom than there is anything physical.
I think the problem is our language isn't sufficient. We need new words, because it's like we do.
Yeah, Oxford Dictionary. Listen up.
We do have a physical existence, but at the same time, I totally respect and agree with what you're saying. It's just like we don't have the right words to like start having these conversations and to institutionalize these ideas.
You know, most arguments are definition arguments, I think, and in the history of humans, like, more people have been killed for their beliefs more than anything, and so people don't want to talk about their beliefs, not because of that. Oh, I heard people got killed, I don't want to talk about my beliefs. But when you talk to someone and they believe something different, I was on, after this UFO convention, I was on a plane and I was talking to the guy next to me. We talked for like 20 minutes straight. You would have thought we would have become best friends. He was going to Bible school. And he mentioned a good fact, you know, I told him I went to a UFO con, and he was like, wow, has anybody ever brought up the fact that UFOs could be demons? And I'm like, no, not in these circles, but I've contemplated that, because the description of a demon is just a definition that might be applied to an alien if we knew them better or interacted with them more, whatever, you know what I mean? They could be similar entities, but when you talk to someone who has their place in society, especially, and I hate to, you know, I always fucking rip on the religions, but the religions brainwash you to try to fix everybody. And this is where these belief murder deaths have come, you know? It's like, dude, I don't know, and I hate to make that judgment on him, but like, I wasn't going to get past the fact that I just have I don't know if it's me having the issues because but I feel like people try to change my definitions for me when I'm having conversations with them when they're overly religious is what I'll say.
That makes sense. I mean, I feel like all religions sort of, not all of them, that's a blanket statement, but most religions I think come from a moment of somebody having some type of understanding and real religious experience and trying to communicate it with their limited linguistic tools, and then it gets politicized. It gets misinterpreted, it gets politicized, it gets culturified, and
I feel like religion itself was meant to be so much more spiritual and was supposed to try to have conversations about spirituality and what we really were, our place here on earth. But it just is not. It hasn't been that since they started making money off of it.
Exactly. Like Jesus had a real spiritual experience that he was trying to express and communicate, but it got politicized and used as a tool for power. And
yeah, because I do believe that there was a man named Jesus, and I do believe he was trying to teach spirituality, but I don't think the religion supports that in any way. And what's the movie Tom Hanks Jesus was married. What's that?
The Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, Da Vinci Code, fuck off. The thing is, if you've read
Tom Hanks movie, you asked me what the movie with Tom Hanks was.
Yeah, if you've read Angels and Demons, like Da Vinci Code ripped off Angels and Demons, and yeah, they purport a what if, but it's based on good shit. And in the book, they're like, listen, this is how things were back then. We've studied history, and I don't know, they just give a lot more evidence than this fantastic James Bond / who's the fucking Harrison Ford guy?
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana
So wait,
Jones.
are you comparing Angels and Demons to the Da Vinci Code?
Oh no,
because it's the sequel, isn't it?
No. I didn't mean to say Angels and Demons.
Oh, okay.
Holy Blood, Holy Grail.
Oh yeah. I know the book you're talking about. Yeah, totally. That's that's pretty much where the Da Vinci Code got all their info from.
Yeah, but they didn't credit them, and they just fucking stole all their information. Yeah. I read Angels and Demons. I didn't read Da Vinci Code, but yeah, fucking Holy Blood, Holy Grail. It's got a lot of good. It's a great book because it's a hey, what if this with a lot of facts behind it.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff. Mary Magdalene showing up in France and all that. Yeah. I feel like a minute ago you were about to get into something about Terence McKenna's views on culture.
Yeah. Terence McKenna quotes, anything that works for electronic music is they're like good quotes to live by. You know what I mean?
Hold on. I want to put that quote on our Twitter. Willy Roberts. That's perfect. I like that.
Because they're trying to be thought provoking in this while this space music is playing.
So you heard it here first. Willy Roberts says that "smack my bitch up" is some words to live by. No, I'm just.
I know. Prodigy's hard because they just Prodigy is just one-line songs, anyways.
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you.
I'm your fire starter, Twisted Fire Starter. I'm your fire starter for 20 minutes.
Fire starter. Fire starter.
One great quote that he has was, a lot of the drugs of the West promote repetitiveness to be a part of a society. If you look at like the drugs that we are into, alcohol, red meat, tobacco, sugar, these are all drugs that work for a machine. They are all different versions of speed. I need this, I got it. I need this, I got it. Coffee, I need to do work so I can continue doing the work if I have coffee. I can continue doing the work if, we don't drink as much as a society today, but if you talk to anybody who worked in the 50s, 60s, 70s even, everybody drank while they were working.
Yeah.
Those
and,
were the
tobacco.
days.
Well, we actually did an episode about beer and like the history of beer. And in the early like days of America, literally babies would drink beer. People thought that beer was healthier than water because the process of making beer gets rid of bacteria. Yeah. And they would literally, like, kids would drink beer, babies would drink beer. It's fucking crazy. No wonder Donald Trump's our fucking president. Our nation was... anyway.
Anyways.
Yeah.
It could be correlated.
But yeah, that like, but what we don't allow are drugs that are mind expanding. Like the reason why psychedelics psychedelics basically only lasted for, they came around in maybe the 40s, 50s, you know, and then they were illegal so quick, so we didn't get a chance as a society to delve into them. And like antidepressants have been legal longer than acid.
Oh, whenever I see a fucking antidepressant commercial, it like makes me cringe. Like someone's trying
That's like
to
that
sell
robot shit, right?
It's because it's advertising for something that is going to dramatically change somebody's life. Let the doctor make that decision. You're like, ask your doctor to let you buy our medicine so we can get more money. And it's like, oh my God.
I don't know if you heard my episode on the American Medical Association, but ask your doctor. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which doctor specify?
Let a good doctor make that call.
Yeah, don't bring it up to the doctor. Let the doctor and even if but even then the doctors are all paid up. You know what?
Yeah.
So, because they're gonna push their drug because then they can get a trip to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Fuck, 2 episodes in a row that we shit on doctors.
shit. I mean,
fuck doctors.
I know. We're gonna hear it from everybody. Well, next time you break your leg, don't ask a doctor to save you.
Yeah. Well, I'm like, you know what?
No, because it's their job.
I don't know. I won't go off. I won't go off on them because it's weird because in this realm, I know we're talking about Terence McKenna, but when you're talking about anything in the conspiracy theory realm, first off, the word itself turns off a lot of people. And then second, if you have an opinion on something else that somebody doesn't want to hear about, all of a sudden you're not credible anymore because like, I believed him when he was talking about aliens, but as soon as he disagreed with doctors, I'm alive today because a doctor saved my life.
Points, breaking points.
I'm trying to remember, where were we?
Okay, Terence was saying one great thing that he said was that basically boundary disillusion scares the institution. You know,
Ooh.
like anything.
That's a rap. Sorry, go on.
Questioning your boundaries. It's better for us to find our place in our society and just be that. He's a janitor, but he's also a father, and he's a Christian, and like all of these things that define you.
It's like a game of Dungeons and Dragons where you're like picking a class and like acting out this role and
that's life.
And imagining it's real, but it's not. It's a game you're playing.
Like, do you think? Like, here's a question for both of you. Do you think everyone deserves to be a king? Should everybody get everything they want? Would that work for our society?
I think we need to make a new like social and economic model because we do have the ability to provide that level of comfort for everybody. And if we don't now, we will very, very soon. But the problem is, of course, that would make our current economic model and social model fall apart. So we need to make a new one. But unfortunately, there's like corporations petitioning, for example, on such a small scale that doesn't have to do with like greater society, the music industry. They don't want us downloading music. Well, you know what? It's not going to stop. Like, the world has changed. Digital reproduction of art is so easy. It's going to happen. We're quickly approaching a post-scarcity society like in Star Trek, and we need an economic or social model that allows for everybody to have everything they want, but still
I think it's
incentivized to work.
It's just too scary to think of because it'll, at least it'll be rocky, and that first generation is really going to hit it hard, and they're going to feel like the sting of the change because it's going to throw everything into chaos.
Yeah, well, the thing is that if you in your life feel threatened by something, I'll do his quote real quick. I don't know the exact quote, but he was talking about how what our society has turned into is if you are trying to figure out who you are in your life or whatever, your soul, your anything past your physical being and your place here on Earth, it's easy to quantify anybody in that realm as crazy. There's nothing more than this, like be a part of the system. And so basically it is these crazy people versus these people that fit well into a machine, these people that fit well into the society. And if you fit well into your society, your culture, basically, if you fit into your definition of your culture, all the definitions on you, then you can only become paranoid. Because as you become more of a model citizen, you're going to question the people that don't fit into what you think is a model citizen should be. And so paranoia is the only thing that can come from you being the best part of your own culture. Oh, does he believe in Jesus? Because if he doesn't, I don't want to listen to him. And so the better model citizen you are, the worse you are for humanity.
In some ways, yeah. Terence talks a lot about culture being like software, as if you think of a human being as hardware, culture are like these like programs, these like operating systems that we run. And so I don't remember it's probably in a bunch of his speeches, because like I said, he does bring up the same like ideas a few times, but he talks about how anybody who's had to switch to a new operating system knows how much screaming and cursing and yelling and frustration there is, and you want to throw your damn computer out the window. And this is in the 90s. He's talking about this too. He's so ahead of his time. But and you know that if you switch from Windows to Mac or vice versa, or you switch from Windows 7 to Windows 8, oh my God, like you better have some Xanax. Forget psilocybin. But if you think about culture being an operating system, it's the same way. It's hard for people to switch operating systems. They like the way Windows works. They're used to Windows. Yeah. They're going to defend Windows. They're going to defend Windows just because it was the first computer they played with.
Yeah. I always think about this because in my lifetime, I feel like I'm going to see some sort of catastrophe. I feel like maybe I might even see some humans having to leave Earth because it's not going to work anymore. It's
we could make that happen for you.
Yeah.
Whatever. And these aren't things that I want, but I'm like, I have my whole life thought about who should get on the boat that's going to be the next humanity. Who deserves to be on the boat?
Our entire cabinet.
Fucking Terence McKenna, but he died. Like, God damn it.
I know. And I'm like, I've always felt that we need people that question everything, because most people will answer people that fit well into that culture. Well, we'll get some priests because they're trustworthy, except for the ones that
touch kids.
Yeah. We need some politicians because they represent people, except for the ones that have, basically there's corruption in every societal choice that people would choose, and more so now than ever.
I think what you would need is just a variety of different types of people. You would need a lot of peaceful hippy-dippy types. You'd need a lot of aggressive anarchist punk rockers. You'd need a lot of hard-laced businessmen. You'd need some military types. You need all those types of people, and they need to fucking get their shit together and not fight each other just because they're different,
Yeah, but you basically have to define what the new society is. And I tell you what, my whole family has been drafted, Like, Jesus. I come from a long line of people that were in wars, I guess is what I'm saying. And I always thought I would have to go to war because my dad, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, they were all part of war. We came to America on a boat in 1896 because of war. That's how we got here. And to anybody who, I don't know, it's weird because this is a bold statement and it sucks, but we are no better than Hitler and his because we still are letting all of this, we're fucking occupying all these places. We're setting missiles off everywhere. We're killing people as a nation right now, and we don't see it. We don't know what's happening. We're all fine with it.
I'm not really fine with it.
But
But
I know,
we're a little better than Hitler still. Not yet are we worse than Hitler.
Well, but the reason why I say it like that is because we still, we can tell him he was wrong after, but it all comes from the Western mind and thinking. I don't know. We still think that we are better than other people. We
Totally.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of narcissism that's
all
rampant
I'm
in our
talking
government.
about is that at the very essence of it, you think you're better than someone else.
Right.
And like, why is that even a conversation? Who cares? Why are you comparing anything about yourself to someone else? If we really want, I don't know. I don't think that in the future we can have beliefs of different cultures run side by side. It seems impossible because that's all we've ever killed people for, and it's still happening.
It's possible. I think it's the problem is like people don't realize what culture is. Like it's not reality. It's a thing. It's like clothing that you wear, as Terence would say, or software. Like it's something that we create, and it's an expression. And I think it's almost like an expression of our like aspiring godhood to like create. Like we create realities with culture, but then everybody believes in them as if they're like the God-given truth, and so they clash with other people that have different cultures because it's like, well, they don't live the way you normal people live like this. Normal people do this.
But to somebody else, normal is different.
But if they could understand what culture was, and really understand that, they could be like, oh, and I don't know, like, I don't know.
Because I always talk about not thinking that you're better than anybody else, but I 100% do. I can't get out of that. I can't. I don't know. And the thing is to me, it always comes down to not education. Education. What are you learning? A history that isn't proper? I don't know. Yeah, I can poke fun at everything, but to me, it's like how you treat someone that you disagree with.
Oh yeah, the fact that like
important.
Personal relationships isn't a thing they teach in school is, I think, glaringly obvious. That like school has an agenda. Our schooling system has an agenda. They should be teaching you everything you need to know about becoming an adult. Like if you're gonna make us do taxes, you should fucking teach us in school and like and how to interact with other people. Why don't they teach you that in school, We have to pay taxes our whole life, and credit is the only thing that anybody knows you by on paper. You want to do anything in your life, you got to have credit. And listen, I'm not saying this is the job of the schools, but what we're doing as a society, we're not teaching people how to be humans in our society. It's exactly.
Like, we're just giving them random facts.
We act like blanket education is like, oh, it's if you're smart, you'll fit in, because you'll figure it all out. Dude, we don't even teach anybody nutrition, and so like
for real,
most people probably die from health issues, and never once did they get a nutrition lesson.
Well, no, if they got nutrition lessons in school, then Hostess wouldn't be selling as much.
I remember getting nutrition lessons in school, and I remember being taught that dairy was one of the food groups, when that was literally just because of the lobbyists for the dairy industry.
Council.
It's not a food group that you need.
There's no fucking dairy food group. To me, that's the perfect example of like, hey, maybe we should not let the corporations win at everything.
Right. There's got to be some lines drawn.
It's like, look, we'll let you win at some things.
Yeah. You go take clothing. Go ahead.
But it's hard for me because it's like I don't like complaining about stuff unless I can offer a solution. But I tend to not have any solutions because I'm turning in. I'm 40, but I still feel like I'm turning into an adult that is about to make a difference.
I think there's no shame in not having solutions. We're not every single human being on Earth isn't, you know what I mean, the next person to make the history books. But like the fact that we're talking about stuff is important. And the fact that we exist in a culture that encourages you not to talk about stuff that's a really negative thing, and it impedes human progress. So like, even if you personally don't like do something that ends up in history books, I think the fact that you have a popular podcast and are part of the internet movement and like the podcasting movement and questioning and discussing and having a voice is like, that is good for society, you know?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, because, like, you know, as much as I beat myself up, it's like, no, you know what? Getting somebody to think, you might get somebody to come up with a good answer. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're
not to say that I'm even trying to, you know, we're just dicking around having a fun podcast.
Yeah.
But ultimately, though, dude, I'm also, you know, I'm trying to pursue a comedy career.
And
I would give it all up if I could make the future better.
And hey, you're right? You're a writer, right?
Yeah.
So like, I feel like the best stuff happens in writing when you're collaborating and talking with somebody and bouncing, and you guys don't agree with each other, but you're like bouncing those ideas back and forth, and eventually you get an idea better than like what either of you would have done on your own. The same can be said for social issues, you know?
Yeah, it just sucks that nobody has seen Idiocracy, and it's happening.
It's funny because all the people that have seen Idiocracy that I know are the ones that are like, this is Idiocracy.
But the thing is, it's not, because the president in Idiocracy was just an idiot, but he had some goodwill in his heart. This isn't Idiocracy, because our president is a malicious fucking troll.
That is so sad.
It's not that he's like, you know, trying to profit off of it.
Yeah, because the president was willing to listen. He was like, oh shit, we got a smart person. Let me listen to what he has to say. Our president is never going to do that.
Well, no, that's when like, okay, so it's just going to, I foresee there's some conspiracy theory level shit going on through my mind about what might be happening in the offices today.
It's transparent. He just fired the director of the FBI.
I know, man. And it's funny that like we can see it and then like not do anything about it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's just, there's too much. I don't understand. What do you mean? There's no evidence.
You know what?
There's even if there is no evidence, there's an awful lot of like. What does it call it when it's like, come on, dude, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You're just incriminating yourself.
I think there's a new rule. I think there's a new rule in podcasting. When the conversation hits Trump, it's time for a pee break.
Yeah, I could go pee.
That
all right, cool.
Sounds good to me.
Meet you back here in like a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that a secret door that was closing?
Yes, a secret room.
Because we call the place we record in the secret room.
Whose house are you at?
My house.
What kind of an adult are you?
What kind of an adult am I?
A stable one.
Yeah.
Clearly.
I'm going to be 32 on Saturday. I'm a manager at I make podcasts. I'm super passionate about it. Got a girlfriend I love. Yeah, I don't know.
That all sounds great.
Cool.
That's the kind of adult I am.
I've never been asked that question before, but I love it because
I like games. I hate phonies.
As you've said on your podcast many times, you're like, oh, it's like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. That was a real question right there. I was like, I don't know how to answer this.
And he was just being facetious too.
What? No,
the best part.
No. My thing is like,
seriously.
I like to be silly and serious at the same time.
Yes, that's the best type of funny.
Super sillious.
Because here's the thing.
That's
this
not
is
what that word means
at all.
What I was thinking about, right? You know, during the pee break was. I get up in arms, I get emotional, I get upset very quickly, and I get very hopeless about the future. When I listen to Terence talk, I've never once heard him have anger.
Yeah, right.
And that's how I judge myself, is like, because, you know, I have anger issues, obviously, because that's what bothers me. about myself, but nobody sees it because it's all internal, and it's when I'm by myself do I have anger issues, and I've never heard him upset, and he's been a person to me that is a model example of a human, what a human's supposed to be. You could be a part of a culture, of a society, and still be human enough to question everything and also not kill anybody because of anything different, like...
Yeah.
We are here. We do need to make it work.
He definitely has a special place in my heart. I mean,
he seems very peaceful.
Wholeheartedly. Yeah. What are some other... So, Time Wave Zero and Novelty Theory. I think, aside from, rampant use of psychedelics... Not rampant. He actually advised everybody to take extremely big doses, but very rarely. Not all the time.
So, once every 8 months.
Yeah, but he gets a reputation for like being on drugs all the time, but that wasn't his deal. He'd be like, "No, I'll take a heavy psychedelic once or twice a year." And he actually stopped in the 80s.
Seems like it would mess you up more that way.
Yeah. I do this thing where I talk to bums a lot, and not a lot, but more so than anybody that I know.
That's funny. I talk to bums too on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I'm like, part of me is like just kind of feeling out where we're at in our society, meaning like everybody's normal, but also everybody's crazy, and like what?
Yeah, totally.
What got them there, and like how? For a long time, I just assumed everybody that was homeless just had undiagnosed mental problems or had drug problems that were and
not necessarily.
I know that that's not the case for everybody. There are definitely some just poor people that fucking got ran amok with credit and
got just the shit deal in life, basically.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. It's weird to me because it's hard for me to go have fun when I see how close I am to things I don't like. Go do your stand up tonight, and I'm like, yes, I'll go be funny, but like, who am I being funny for? Because most of the times I do, even in my stand up, go off on tangents about the helpless future.
You came here to laugh, folks, but you're going to leave depressed as fuck. By the way, the future is never. Hope is
what
lost.
What is that? Was that It's Always Sunny? Yeah, it was D. D does the stand-up, and she's just... Oh, man.
You were talking about Time Wave Zero.
I was. Oh, yeah, wow. Yeah, I was interested what you think about that, about like Novelty Theory and Time Wave Zero, and I'm also interested, as we said, Craig's the newbie, and I'm interested if he heard anything about that too.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I did, but like that was the main focus of where I was kind of lost, because I don't know, I just like, I get what he's saying, but I don't get it at the same time. Like, I feel like I need to just think it over for a few more decades.
Well, let's talk about it. That's what we're here to do, right?
Help me, guys.
Well, okay, Time Wave Zero I haven't seen in a long time, so I don't remember what that is.
Like, basically, it was like 9/11 was the last Time Wave Zero.
No, he died before 9/11. Sadly.
Maybe that's what his brother said then. I don't know.
Willie, what about Novelty Theory?
Yeah, well, Novelty Theory to me is like, I don't know. Novelty Theory to me is fact. It's the way things are.
I totally agree too.
And so when I listen to him talk, I'm like, I kind of just go, yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, he's coming up with things that I've never heard before, but I just agree with it.
But he words it so much better than any of us could.
Well, it's just like you're supposed to be listening to him because he's like a professor or something. Like, well, I'll take your word for it.
There's no way I could explain Novelty Theory, but I guess here's just me going off in that direction. Is when you picture our existence, your existence with yourself. It's weird because of all the the terrorist attack that just happened, and a bunch of kids just fucking died.
Fuck, I didn't hear about this.
What? Yeah, no, in Manchester.
Yeah, an Ariana Grande concert happened, and somebody like blew themselves up outside after the show when all these kids were leaving the show.
Oh my god!
22 dead or some shit.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and like hundreds injured, and it's weird to me because part of me says when I listen to Terence McKenna, I do want to shock up the system, the society, and I don't ever think of death or getting people to turn their heads by killing anybody, but I know that's out there for some people, and I don't think that ISIS is that's not what they're doing. They're not trying to get us to reconsider society. That's not what's happening.
Oh, they are, but in a very different type of way.
Well, yeah, but in a way to make us follow what they believe.
Exactly.
This is, to me, this is the problem with most religions. This is why I say beliefs are what kill people, are because for every other religion, you basically are okay to kill other people that don't believe in what you believe.
Yeah, because they aren't worthy or some shit.
In the rule book for these religions, multiple religions.
This is definitely the type of thought process I've subscribed to within the last few years, and like my whole world has changed really. Like once I've opened my eyes and seen what like life is like in the real fucking world.
Like I can't. It's weird for me to say. It's easier also for people that believe in an afterlife. I believe in an afterlife, but it's easier for people that believe in an afterlife to kill someone because it's like, well, this life doesn't matter.
I'm just going to go to the next one, right?
Yeah, and that's hard too because I don't know. I have a fear. My ultimate fear is death. I saw Poltergeist when I was in first grade, and I haven't slept since then because I don't understand death or evil and I'm like, now I'm questioning if there even is such a thing as evil because that's us categorizing things. And like when you picture
as a novelty,
like picture, I don't know, when I think about aliens,
and you do this a lot.
I always think that there's no way that I could comprehend what they think, what they do, anything.
Oh, there is a way. You eat mushrooms.
Yeah, maybe. Because
I really need to pick up my mushroom game.
Yeah, I know. I want to start microdosing.
Okay, and you know what? Can we do this? Hey, I don't know if this is breaking any laws, so it's if it is, then we're not doing this. But wink, wink. But
does it have to do with psilocybin mushrooms?
Do you want to take some mushrooms and podcast?
It breaks laws. Yes.
Oh, okay, then never mind. But wink.
Yes, on paper.
But
yes, on paper.
But
okay.
As far as like society and everything, something that I remember Terence said, I'm going to paraphrase here, and it vibes with something that I often say. Like he said that say you're you're climbing the stairs, like progressing with society or whatever. It doesn't matter if you stop walking. It's like we're on an escalator. You're going to keep progressing either way because the ground beneath you is rising. Like and something that I say is like the trajectory and the momentum that has been going for like 20,000 years of forward progress and forward thinking and more like accepting and understanding models of like human existence and interaction. Like things are getting better, and then Donald Trump gets elected and you're like, oh fuck, it doesn't look like things are getting better.
Like I had a hard time with this for a long time because yes, I want to fix the future. My fucking comedy show is called Future Solvers. Like but I inherently can't think that I'm responsible for fixing the future because that's just me being selfish and being like, oh, I'm smarter, I'm better, or whatever, all these things. But I have, within the last decade, subscribed to the fact that if you want to make the world a better place, then you make yourself better. Because inherently, yourself being better, you're going to, A, enjoy it better, but B, people are going to see you and you're raising your consciousness and it affects everybody else.
Dude, totally. Something I always say, this is kind of my own thing here, is like when people say like, oh, one person can change the world, or when people say one person can't change the world, I'm like, no. Every single person changes the world. Like one person does change the world whether they want to or not. And it's up to you whether or not you want to make a conscious decision. So like, oh, if I pick up litter and someone's like, oh, you think you're going to change the world? Like, no, I know I'm going to change the world. So I just try to do the best I can because no matter what I do, it is going to have a butterfly effect on the world. So I just try to make sure I fuck up, but I think it's important. That's why it's important to make those good decisions.
That guy that says that to you is just a dick, though. Right? What are you doing recycling? Picking up garbage? Well, somebody's got to fucking do it.
Yeah. One of the great Terence quotes I heard recently listening to him, he said something like, people always use the word human consciousness. And he's like, we don't need to add human to it. Consciousness is something that we tap into. It exists whether we are aware of it or not.
I love that idea, and I buy into that, too.
That was interesting to me because it's like, oh, wow, yeah, this life begets life, consciousness, something that we can't even define. We don't even know what it is. But no matter what, it's there, and you can tap into it and ride the wave or ignore it and be a part of society.
Yeah, I think just being privileged enough to have like a complex central nervous system makes us better suited to process consciousness, it's not what generates it.
But there's also no way we'll ever be right about what it is. And in that same realm, he said, for what we are and what the history of humans are, there's no way anybody's going to come up with what existence is. We're just not going to come up with what we are doing here, what this is, the purpose of it. And so there are a lot of things we don't understand. And I'm not saying, I don't know, I'm torn because I'm like, do we need to figure it out? Does it matter if we figure out what we're doing here?
Who knows, man? But there's no end to the rabbit hole. Every time you answer a question, there's another question to be answered. So I don't know, but whether or not
I think it's better for the future if we question that, because then that makes us question the importance of everything we're doing.
Well, we're naturally compelled to. We're naturally compelled to question it, so we probably should. Like bees are naturally compelled to make honey, and it's a damn good thing they do.
So they probably should.
Yeah.
I don't think Coca-Cola or McDonald's are trying to figure out what we're doing here.
At the same time, though, Terence McKenna would absolutely say, like, yeah, but that's just all part of the natural unfolding of the universe. Like, yes, no, that doesn't mean that we should just not care and not rally against, corporate crime and disgusting food that kills everybody in America. But
but for some reason, like sometimes you just want it, but then you have it and then you cry a little after.
I want some fries so bad right now. But no, Terence, that's why he was so chill, because he wasn't worried about it, because he was like, well, yeah, this is what the universe does. This is how it's unfolding. This is novelty unfolding. This is humanity, entering and attempting to exit its adolescent stage. Like, it's all part of. God, I hope Donald Trump doesn't get us all killed.
I think that it's impossible for him to do it because there are leaders around the world that are. I could say worse. I could say Putin is worse than Trump because I know that he's killed people at his own hands while he was running KGB,
Well, but there's also, I'm kind of subscribed to the theory that Putin has made Trump his puppet and Trump thinks he's like they're friends on the same level.
Yeah. You know what's a fun video to watch is either Kim Jong-un or Putin demonstrating their physical abilities, because when you watch the people that are
he had 12 goals at a hockey game. Like Putin is better than Kim Jong-il.
But I did bring up novelty theory, and with you bringing up corporations, I do think everything going on, even the fucked up stuff, because what's good and what's bad comes down to human preference, what we think is good for us and our ability to be comfortable and reproduce and maintain human existence. So this is all a part of reality naturally unfolding. And the idea of novelty theory is that reality or existence in some way, for some reason, favors ever more novel, like, and complex systems. So by novelty, it doesn't mean like, fart pills that you get at Spencer's. It's like new things, like the new and ever more complex things being generated. It seems to be a law of nature.
So kind of like basically grand scale events determine like how time is perceived.
No, like just that. Think about evolution, how something starts out as like an amoeba, and then through millions and millions of years of evolution, eventually we get to human who are thinking and all this. So that is present in all aspects of existence. This is like what novelty theory proposes, and which I totally subscribe to. It's present in like physics, astrophysics, and the way that the universe expands, the planetary, like I don't know, I'm not a scientist. Neil deGrasse Tyson, if you're listening, don't get on my case. Totally tweet at us though. But like
but Neil deGrasse Tyson, don't be a bully either, because science bullies are still bullies.
Yeah.
You don't know anything. Go on.
But that's just
Be
the
a
idea,
star.
just newness. Like, so like it starts off as just a bland empty rock, and then there's shit growing on it, and then there's single-celled organisms, and then there's this, and then there's that. Not only that, but in human society, it starts out as cave paintings, and eventually there's Netflix and podcasts and in multimedia experimental art, like, like it's all language. Like language, it's crazy. Like that's the idea of novelty theory, is that existence somehow favors the production of novelty and conserves it also, because like it's reluctant to let it go, to let novelty disappear.
I'm glad you could explain that in some way, because I definitely cannot.
Aw, thanks, man. That makes me feel cool.
He was also the only person that could explain Magic the Gathering to me. I stayed away from Magic because I knew that I would love it, and it's fun.
4 years ago, a bunch of us got together and some guys taught us how to play, and we were going to go do a tournament. We never did, but I do like it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
But it's weird because when you look at the universe, yes, of course, the small is the same as the big. Like I say, of course, Terence says that the universe works like a fractal. In that,
yes.
The big is the same as the small. And that's what's inherently wrong with our science these days. Listen, I hate that there's a science versus religion argument going on right now.
Oh my God, me too.
Because there is a science versus science argument going on right now. And there's so many people that just say, oh, I believe in science. And I'm like, okay, what are the fucking current theories of everything right now? Because it's all changing. It's all different. Are you looking up new theories?
No, they're just picking a side. Like,
yeah, and
it's
they're picking
science
a side
or
that's
religion.
easy.
Yeah.
When you look at I always make this thing, and this isn't an argument that I came up with, but not even an argument, but that, general relativity and string theory don't add up. String theory seems to be more the nature of reality, and general relativity still has these weird concepts that probably can't be right. Like, I don't know if you've heard, our episode didn't do this justice, but I don't believe in gravity. I don't think that gravity is a thing. I don't think that gravity is a constant, and the reason why I say that is because I think that the actual nature of reality is probably closer to what Tesla was into, and electromagnetism.
Mm-hmm. So you think that's what's keeping us held to the ground?
Yeah, the bonds that hold protons and neutrons together is what holds us to the ground. And
that's why it only happens here and not up in space. It's like the world is just no gravity, but we're like magnetically charged with the iron in our blood.
But like we are still being held in the Milky Way. So our place is held on a planet at a sun that's in a leg of the Milky Way, and it's like that ain't fucking gravity. I mean, I can say that and make it sound like I'm smarter for knowing it's not gravity.
We're just gonna use that as a new soundbite, just like it ain't fucking gravity. Anything we want.
I don't actually know. Like, I'm not qualified to make that call, but I do find that discussion compelling. The gravity versus electromagnetism. I have read a little bit about it. Gravity versus.
Think of how smart we think we are right now. There have been whole societies before us that came up with things that we stole, like democracy, and they left this Earth not being any smarter than we are.
Yeah.
But they came up with concepts that we think are great.
Well, one thing I absolutely love, we talked a little bit about novelty theory. The other claim to fame that Terence McKenna has is time wave zero, which we talked a little bit about. That is almost where that came from, was him studying the I Ching. Are either of you familiar with, or do you have any experience with the I Ching?
I've never experienced the I Ching personally.
Willie?
No, I definitely have seen some Time Wave Zero documentaries, but it's been a long time.
Okay, I would recommend you read into the I Ching. I've done it a few times. It's a divining thing like tarot or whatever, to give you an idea about like the situation you're in and how to proceed. And I've found that every time I did it and every time I helped somebody do it, it worked immensely. But I've only done it a few times because I kind of just came up understanding that you're not supposed to abuse it, and if you abuse it, it's not going to work.
Oh. I mean, here's what I believe, and I believe that whatever you believe is right, and that our brains, our consciousness, everything is powerful enough to bring to life what you believe. And so you believe in prayer works. You believe in superstitions, the superstitions work.
So it's all ran by our own consciousness.
That our belief system can power the universe in a way.
I guess I can feel that.
I believe in a creator, and I believe that creation is the creator. I think that whatever life is will never define, because it is what is defining everything.
Yeah, that actually makes sense to me. As much as that sentence shouldn't make sense to me,
creation, like the act itself is the creator, and who knows where that first.
And there's no and I feel like religions were really trying to define these things back in the day before money, and that like there are things that inherently make sense. I don't know, how do you describe everything? How do you describe energy? How do you describe like I don't know. You can always talk about, and Terence brings this up too, but like, if there is a God, could this God create a boulder so heavy that he couldn't pick it up, or she? And
if the concept of God were graspable by our minds, it wouldn't be sufficient enough to be the concept of God. And we'd come up with a new concept to call God.
That's what I always laugh at, is like, whenever you get into God conversations, I'm like, but I think that having this human experience is disconnecting from God, so that we're allowed to suffer because we're gods too.
But at the same time, there's no such thing, though. Like, there's no such thing as disconnecting from God. That would be impossible, right?
Well, disconnecting meaning we're not disconnected, but we think we are.
Yeah, our language isn't equipped. I totally see what you're saying, totally.
Because I think that I can connect to myself on a higher plane, and I don't know who that is. Because
we used to have cultures that encouraged an understanding of this type of thing, and since we don't, it leads to some type of disconnect with us. It's all part of the natural unfolding of reality, so there's no actually being disconnected from whatever it is you would call God, but the fact that we live in a culture that either encourages false beliefs in imaginary mythological beings or encourages no spirituality whatsoever, pick a side,
Yeah.
Have either of you guys meditated before?
I meditate. It's like flossing your teeth. I try to keep the habit up, and when I'm in the habit of doing it, it's great and it's easy to do every day. And when I'm not in the habit of doing it, it's like exercise. I got to get back into it.
It's definitely something I've done before, but it's not something I do.
What method do you do?
Soto Zen. Just bare bones. You sit at the wall, eyes open. You just stare at the wall. You don't encourage thought, but you don't fight thought. You just sit there. I mean, other stuff like transcendental meditation or like astral projection, I definitely think all that stuff is useful, but I think it's also useful to just like drink. You have to drink water. You have to drink like so and so many cups of water a day. You have to at least just sit at the wall for 20 minutes a day and just look at the wall and not think. But don't stop yourself from thinking. Just do it. Just sit there.
That's great. I do Vedic meditation, and though I don't practice as much as I should, the idea is, I have a mantra that I say in my head, and that like the way your brain works is it always wants to pay attention to what's more attractive, and so you shouldn't hinder thought, because as soon as you say you shouldn't be thinking something, that's when you start focusing on it. And when I was meditating regularly, that was the most rested I've ever felt in my life. Yet I was sleeping 2 to 3 hours a night, and I need to get back into it. But like that was more restful and more beneficiary to me than regular sleep. And it's weird because in the meditative state, they have done studies where your brain waves are actually, in a different state than just dreaming or.
Yeah, dude. I've experienced some crazy shit meditating, and I've also experienced some incredibly mundane shit meditating. And the way, like, the Soto Zen school would put it is like, yeah, the mundane shit is the more important thing. That's what meditation is about. It's about the mundane shit. Yeah, that insane stuff, it is a real part of reality, but don't get focused on that. The point of meditation is just to sit and look at the wall.
You're not going out there to trip. It's to reset yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But
let me ask you guys this, because I feel like with all these cell phones and Wi-Fi and everything floating around, I think it's probably more beneficial to wear a tinfoil hat now than it ever has been.
Willie, you did not just advocate for tinfoil hats.
I mean, they did those.
I love it.
These little girls did the study where they tried to grow plants next to a Wi-Fi router and they wouldn't grow.
Yeah, I heard about that. Oh fuck! I'm gonna take my phone out of my pocket. It's like right next to my balls.
You turn your phone on and look for a Wi-Fi signal. There's like 10 signals that you're hitting.
Yeah, it is weird because a lot of people will just shrug it off and sweep it under the rug and be like, you're being paranoid. But like, we don't know yet. Like, no, people used to think that like bacon was healthy and smoking helped you maintain a slim figure. Like,
smoking helped you maintain the look of a tough guy.
If a plant cell can't grow, you're filled with something comparable to a plant cell. I don't know.
A little more complex, but yeah, I get the point.
So, all right, let's. Where were we? Time Wave Zero. Time Wave Zero was Terence's idea that history, in some way, whereas science generally operates on the assumption that there was a singularity at the beginning of time, Time Wave Zero is the opposite. The singularity is at the end of time. And what's at the beginning? I don't know. No, he doesn't propose an answer to where time started or how.
I know because I've played Chrono Trigger.
Oh, okay, there you go. That doesn't go back to the Oh, does it?
It does.
I have Chrono Trigger. I haven't played it.
Oh, Willie, you gotta play it. It's so fucking good. It's like the
then
best
listen
game
to
of
our
all time.
50th episode of Fairpoint Podcast, the Chrono Trigger episode.
All right. Yeah, I got a PlayStation version.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's the exact same version as the Super Nintendo version. You will be a little frustrated because it has the same load time as the Super Nintendo version. But yeah, so Time Wave Zero is the idea that based on the I Ching, he formed a sort of like idea of like a map of time that would document when there's more novelty and when there's more habit. So like reality goes through phases of novelty and habit. Novelty is when new things are coming out, like the 20th century, jazz music, art, like culture, America, the expansion of like the internet, all that. And then habit is like, like all the sheeple, like falling into cultural norms and stuff like that. And so
it's a very nice way of putting it.
That's what Time Wave Zero is supposed to represent. His brother, Dennis.
Yeah.
He kind of says, I think Terence truly and honestly discovered an ancient Chinese calendar and got a little carried away thinking it was a model of time. I think I'm somewhere between Dennis and Terence. I think Terence's ideas about time are absolutely like valid, but he may have been a little off in his trying to create an exact like map of it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah, time is such a weird concept because time makes you the important part of the story.
Because it's all perceptive.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I
would
that.
also be remiss if I didn't say that time also keeps on slipping into the future.
It does. It does.
Time is slipping into the future? What?
What does that even mean?
I do like the idea. I don't know. I mean, what I like is that there is a concept. I don't know if I agree with every concept. I like hearing the concept, you know. It's like, wow, you thought about this more than you should have. But in the same way, there's no way that he came up with the nature of, even though he probably has thought about it more validly than most people in the history of humans. There's no way that he came up with the nature of reality. And not to knock him. I think he's the smartest. I think he's one of the smartest guys that ever lived. You give other people credit for being smart, and it's like those other people never made me think.
Well, I think what he's trying to do is he recognized that maybe the I Ching, what it was is like the way the I Ching works is you like you originally you would draw stalks of wheat, and because this originated in China, and eventually even in like ancient China, drawing stalks of wheat became like outdated and out of fashion, and they started tossing coins. So you would toss coins and you would create like a hexagram, which was basically just 5 lines, and some of them were broken, some of them were straight, and depending on which one you created, as you'd like toss a coin, you'd get like head tails. Well, that means a straight line. Head. Well, that means a broken line. I don't know if that's factually accurate, but something like that. And once you did it 5 times, you'd get your hexagram. There's 54 or 64 possible hexagrams that you can get, and you'd like look it up and you'd be like, okay, this is the type of time I am going through, and now that I'm aware of that, I'm empowered to try to figure out how best to deal with that. It doesn't tell you what's going to happen in the future, but it's like, okay, well, this is the type of time you're in. Figure out what to do based on that.
I'm gonna look that up. You guys hear about the the coin flip studies that they've done?
No.
Basically, here they are trying to figure out if a coin flip is actually 50%.
Oh yeah, no, I have heard it's not. It's like 49.9% heads or something.
Well, the one that I subscribed to was that whoever was doing the test, whatever outcome they wanted, they influenced their outcome because their will affected the outcome.
But didn't they? I think it has something to do with like the weight of like the engravings on each side, like throws it off by like a 0.05% or something.
Yeah, I heard that too, but basically though that people could change. People were having such different outcomes, and so their will affected the test.
I absolutely agree. Like that's a thing.
But I'm saying though, with this hex time thing, what if it could work? Because here's how I do a coin flip: I flip it, and then whatever the outcome is, I based my whatever I need to do on my reaction to it. Because like if I'm flipping a coin, I don't care. But then if I'm actually mad about one of the results, then I do care, and I'd follow that instead of what the coin flip says.
I said tails never fails. Damn it.
Yeah. So, but like, what if these coin flips were basically showing you inherently what you wanted or what you needed because you were in charge of it?
All right, I think we're pausing real quick.
I guess we're on pause. Are you there? Still chilling?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. You having fun, man?
Yeah, I'm having a blast. Listen, ultimately, when you have conversations with people, I get turned off because at some point I'm like, you have too many definitions in your life, and you're not actually having a conversation. You're trying to make sure that I believe what you believe. you guys are past that. I think. I guess is what I'm saying. Is like I appreciate having conversations with intelligent people, intelligent, creative people. This is all great.
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you so much. It means the world to me to hear that, man. This podcast is our passion. I love your podcast, and this is dope, dude. I'd love to do more in the future if you're down.
Yeah. I want to have you guys on our show.
Oh my God, dude, that would be amazing. Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you, dude. That'd be dope.
So you guys should come up with a topic that you think you want to do, whether we've done it or not, and then we'll book it.
Okay, we'll do it, dude. Thank you. That's fucking awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
That's awesome.
I just
dude.
caught the tail end of that.
I'm excited, dude. That got me hard. No, it didn't really get me hard. I'm not.
No, it did. I see it. It's there.
I know. It's a joke worth saying. Whether you have to do it sometimes.
Okay, I just have one quick question for you personally.
Yeah.
You are a writer, correct?
Yep.
You live in LA, correct?
Yeah.
Do you work in LA or Hollywood?
LA.
You work in LA. How bad is traffic? Like, how much time do you have to give yourself to get to work?
The thing is this. There's
Craig,
always
this is
a
creepy.
chance.
What are you doing right
No,
now?
I've always been curious. It is so weird, I know, but like I'm always like, oh yeah, but I mean, I bet the commute sucks.
I'd feel a lot better about this if you'd put away your notebook. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't have a notebook.
Yeah. There's always a chance at traffic. I've been stuck in traffic at like 3 a.m. because this place is so big that an accident could just fuck you real hard.
Do accidents seem normal or common?
Yeah, for sure. Like, for anybody who says I'm late because of traffic, I'm like, fuck you. You're not allowed to do that.
We're all late because of traffic, dick.
But that
like,
makes
we give
everybody
ourselves time
have to
to
be
get
there
here.
early. Like, the TV show I work on, people show up at 6 o'clock, and they don't have to be in until 6:45 because everybody has the chance of being late, so everybody shows up way early.
Right, so people are still held accountable for being there on time, correct?
Yeah. Today for me, had I taken the freeway home today, it would have taken me over an hour. I took side streets to where I had to go over a mountain, and most people don't take that side street. took me a half hour.
Okay, so you just got to know where to drive, like the back roads.
Yeah, but if I wanted to go to the beach, I don't even go unless it's like Sunday morning or a weekday morning. Honestly, the traffic is fucking terrible out here, but it's better than a lot of other towns because other towns can't handle the volume. When I go back home, there's rush hour because the stoplight's fucked up. Not because the roads out here. There's a lot of lanes, and they know how to make the traffic flow. I was in Oregon this last weekend. All of a sudden, I'm hitting a stoplight. I can see where there's no traffic miles ahead of me, but I can't get there.
I totally know that. I mean, the second there's any construction on a highway, immediately stupid idiots in our city don't know how to drive, and they act like they're the only thing that exists on the goddamn road.
It's selfish. Everybody's selfish. You need to, traffic is selfish, and I take I take traffic personally, and I'm trying to get out of that because why should I allow anybody to affect my day?
Dude,
okay, I want to bust a myth here, though. I went to Boston, and everybody says Boston drivers are assholes. That was the smoothest, busy driving I've ever experienced. Everybody knew what they were doing, and everybody was okay with one another.
I did.
Scissoring lanes was amazing.
I took a bus tour around Boston, and it did go pretty quickly. But, Willie, I ride a bike everywhere, man. Get your fucking strap on your fanny pack and get a fucking bike, dude. It's awesome.
It takes them 30 minutes doing the back roads. That's like a 2-hour bike ride.
Don't work here because there's big mountains to get over.
Oh, that makes sense.
So, like, when they say the valley, it's like there are tons of valleys out here. The freeways are normally the quickest because they don't have to go over the mountain.
Yeah. I hear you. It takes me 20 minutes to get to work, but 40 minutes to get back because it's uphill. So, yeah.
Not both ways uphill, just one way.
So I can imagine if the entire landscape was.
Boy, you had it so much easier than our grandparents.
Yeah. Have you guys seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh my God, yes.
That movie is about how the oil industry killed public transportation in L.A. There used to be public trains everywhere.
What?
Oh yeah, like
They're
the
all
trolleys, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, those really aren't that much of a thing anymore.
No, not out here. It actually died during that time.
Because they were just trying to sell motor vehicles.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. This has been so fucking cool.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Like I said, man, to me, good conversation is, to me, what I want the universe to be. I want to be able to get inside your head and see if we think the same way. And if not, I'd like to be able to describe why it's different as opposed to judging anybody.
Yeah, communicate, listen to what other people have to say, tell people what you think, respond. Like, that's what generates change in the world, like, for the positive.
Also, I would like to thank the fact that we have these information super data bank highways.
You're thanking a fact, Craig?
No. I would like to thank that fact for the chance for us to actually speak to somebody across the goddamn country from us.
Yes, as predicted by Terence McKenna.
As predicted by T Mac.
T-Mac.
Rap Daddy, T Mac.
Yeah, picture, there were songs I tried to find for decades and before the internet, and I sure am thankful that it's all possible as long as we're using it in the right way, Do everything the right way.
Do your best. Do your best and don't beat yourself up when you fuck up.
And do the right thing.
Do the right thing, Mookie.
Yeah, Mookie.
Is there anything you'd like to plug? Like, I don't know exactly when this is coming out, but feel free.
I think my favorite thing I do these days is Willy Bad Movies. It's an Instagram account where I just come up with a fake movie poster every week.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to come out on air as a piece of shit. I hear you talk about it every episode, and I still haven't looked it up.
Oh,
I'm
it's
sorry,
okay. I
dude.
mean,
It's okay. Now you're just like everybody's fan base.
They're just Instagram movie posters.
No, but every
It's just
time
a-
I hear you say it, I'm like, I gotta check that out. It's just, I hear it when I'm like at work or commuting on my bike, and then I get home and I'm like, I don't think about it. But I'm definitely going to, and our listeners fucking better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're only as smart as our next distraction.
Sounds right.
Thank you so much. This has been awesome, dude.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, because I do feel more hopeful that you guys are paying attention to Terence McKenna. I think that thinking is going to be the future. Thinking is the future. How about that?
Yeah.
That's another soundbite to go off.
Yeah, there's our tagline. Hey, tell
We're better
Wade.
than Star Trek.
Tell Wade we said hi, and
Yeah, I will.
And we'll be coming for him, I guess.
no, no.
We're gonna be out there.
Disregard Craig.
It just made sense. All right, take it easy, man.
I feel like when I was younger, I could totally do him. This isn't perfect, fellas. But if I listened to the talks, I can't do it, can I? That's not.
And that's Terrence from the island of Honolulu, everybody. Honolulu.
Oh, me and you did do a great Art Bell when we were doing Art Bell and Terrence. Does it sound enough like? I don't think it does. I feel like I could do it better.
You'd have to distort it to make it sound like it was 30 years old. Then it'd be fine.
And record it on a tape deck from the audience.
Dude, just use a pop filter.
Well, no, a lot of those talks are people, like, he would just show up to the talks I guess a lot of them didn't have pop filters, but it's because he's doing a talk live. A lot of those don't have pop filters at live speeches. It's people recording in the audience and stuff, or close to the stage
is that
and stuff.
like what all those talks are?
A lot of them,
the archive?
That's like...
There was when people randomly be in the audience?
Yeah, there was no official, like, Terence McKenna podcast. He would just show up at places and live places, and you'd pay and go hear him talk, and there'd be Q&As and stuff, and like luckily certain people recorded them.
Like the people there, like the people in charge would record all those,
right?
Like, have
sometimes
their own archives.
It happens. Some of them are, but that's why it's such a. But the thing is, just that's a great thing because there's so many people out there that listened to him and recorded him, and that's a treasure because otherwise all these talks would be lost. But luckily, someone out there with a shitty V8 or cassette recorder recorded it, and it's good enough that I don't know, I can listen to him. I've grown to just expect it and don't even notice it anymore. Anyway, we should have been talking about this in the actual outro. All right.
Yes, we should have.
For real.
You could just like displace this. It's recording, right? So you could just displace this chunk, just pop it somewhere in the middle. We'll give ourselves a proper segue.
I'll do it like they do on the Nerdist. On the Nerdist, they're like, it just kind of starts, the music's, and then like 5 minutes later, the guest is like, wait, we've been recording? And it's like, the show started 6 minutes ago. The outro started 6 minutes ago, guys.
I mean, are we recording? We've been done. We're done.
Welcome to the outro. How did you like the episode, guys?
I enjoyed it, so I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh my God, I enjoyed the fuck out of it. Literally, there was fuck in it, and then I enjoyed it so much that the fuck left.
It literally got out.
I enjoyed the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
What are you failing to understand, audience?
I got it.
I enjoyed the fuck out of it.
I think they got it. We can't really be sure if they did or didn't at this point.
Willy, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, man.
It was such a pleasure to have you on our show.
No, you're a genuine human being, and I'm glad I have now gotten to know you.
Yeah, me too, and I look forward to more conversations. And Wade, are you listening, Wade? Wade, we're coming for that ass, Wade.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. we did do that. Oh,
what
dear.
did we do?
I don't know.
So look forward to hearing us on a future episode of Real Life Sci-Fi. And Wade, we really look forward to having a conversation with you and Willy. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I think it's going to be crazy because like Willy's going to be saying some stuff and I'll be like, yeah, that seems like it makes sense. And then Wade's going to say some stuff and be like, you know what, you got a point.
And then
I'll be like, oh man, I'm still Captain Neutral.
I honestly believe that it's destiny. This all has to culminate in a massive, epic tables, ladders, and chairs match between Blurry Photos, Fairpoint Podcast, and Real Life Sci-Fi.
It doesn't matter. I'm Hardy Boys. Called it. We're the Hardy Boys.
Fuck that.
Tables, ladders, and chairs match, we have the advantage as the Hardy
But they're my
brothers.
least favorite.
Listen, you got to get extreme, okay?
I like Edge and Christian, and then I like Dudley Boys.
You know what? That's true. If we were Edge and Christian, we might actually win it. Called dibs. Cancel. We got dibs on Edge and Christian.
Well, that's chairs, right? Yeah, that's chairs.
The concerto. You can do that.
Hey. We hope you enjoyed this awesome podcast, and we hope you will enjoy many more in the future because there's so much more to listen to.
And there's so much more to come.
To come.
Stop it. I already know what you're thinking.
I was say
thinking
anything.
it, and you were going with it. I know you were. And they're like, you filthy little girl.
Hey, I don't know if this is your first time listening from any angle, but there's like 100 episodes of Real Life Sci-Fi. There's like 120 episodes of our side series, Fairpoint. And there's like 50 episodes of my Pokemon series, Sylph Radio, a Pokemon podcast.
Wait, you got to 50?
Almost. We're not there yet. I said 50. It is like 50. 44 or whatever it is like 50.
There's got to be some place where you can catch them all.
SecretRoomMultimedia.com. Except for Real Life Sci-Fi. You won't find Real Life Sci-Fi on SecretRoomMultimedia.com. For that, you'll have to go to feralaudio.com. That's feral, F-E-R-A-L, audio.com.
Yeah, but don't waste a master ball.
I like what you did there. No, you can use it. It's worth it.
No.
It's worth it.
Don't waste the master ball.
It's worth it.
You hold on to it, even if it's the best thing there. You just want to keep holding on to it. Mewtwo might show up.
That's what you do with your number one items in video games, and then you never use them.
Mewtwo might show up.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I beat
Hold on
Super
to it for
Mario
Mewtwo.
RPG, and I still have 2 red essences.
Yeah, man. You just hold on to it. You're like, no. I could probably get it with a quick ball.
I can't believe I remembered that reference. If there's anyone else out there that gets that reference, like, holy shit, I can't believe I get that reference.
You made it.
I know.
Bruh.
Red essences. I haven't thought about red essences in like 20 years. They were like the most important thing back then.
I mean,
it's basically Phoenix Downs.
Which is really weird because like 20 years ago, the most important essence to me was herbal essence.
Urge.
I've
got the urge to close this podcast out. Hey, we know you loved it. We know you're sad to see us go. But, I doubt you're one of the... I doubt you're one of the people who have listened to every episode of Real Life Sci-Fi Fairpoint Podcast, Fair Enough Podcast, and Sylph Radio Podcast. So go out there and find something else to listen to.
Yeah. As long as it's ours.
Or Feral Audio. Go check out Feral Audio.
Or theirs. Yeah. Check
Not
that
only
out too.
There's Real Life Sci-Fi, but there's a lot of other really cool shows on Feral Audio too. It's a fucking dope podcast network.
Yeah.
Harmontown. Mystic. There's like a Mystic pizza or something.
Okay, you know what? We're not sure, but we know that there's good ones out there, okay? Professionalism.
From the Secret Room.
I'm Craig Lewis.
And I'm Nathan Kay. And that was Willy Roberts from Feral Audio.
And this Pabst is for you.
Ooh, for real?
Sure, you got your own though. This one is.
Yeah,
no, this
but
one's
I mean,
for the listener.
This is the last one. I'll
I'm
take
drinking
yours.
it in honor of Listeners Appreciation Day. I
Yeah,
just made it up.
me too. You just beat me to saying it.
Yeah, well, you know, first.
Hey, can we pause for literally 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Sorry, just literally just pause. I just wanna...
Yeah. Yeah, you bet. And it's funny. It's funny when you make a noise because it's like, well, this means that it's still okay. Like, don't. It's fine. Don't. I know. A second. When you describe a second, it's never a second. Where did you guys meet at? That's cool. You know, that's my favorite type of friend, when you meet someone in the real world, because you don't have to be friends with them. Anybody you met in middle school, like, you're friends with them for too long until you start to go like, well, I don't actually like this guy. Yeah. And you choose to be friends, so you're actually better friends because you're enjoying it.
You're the only person I ever actually like sent this to, but I was like, you know, when you work a job with somebody and then they leave, you guys are like mad cool, you chill, you get rides home from work with each other or whatever, hang out, and then one of you gets a new job and then you guys just never talk to each other ever again. And thanks to Facebook, maybe you see each other's updates and that's it. And I was like, dude, this can't happen with us. And you're the only person I've ever like said, actually, like, literally just been like, dude, fuck the bullshit. That can't happen with us. And now we have a podcast. So like, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's way cool, because, you know, like I say, the world kills itself for their beliefs. But when you find someone that you should be friends with, like, you better fucking go out of your comfort zone and make friends with them, because they'd be gone just as easy.
Right? Man. Just
So
wisdom tonight, dude.
So you guys should digitally hug right now. You don't have to hug in person, just digitally hug.
Well, I mean, we do. So